I moved to Nashville a little over 6 years ago, and I wanted to be an artist and just get better at writing songs. I started writing in college, but I never really played them for anybody because I knew it wasn't, I listened to so much music that I knew it wasn't up to the standards people wanted to hear. So I just kept writing until I got better. But Nashville, my first job ever I was Luke Bryan's merch guy. And just getting to write songs out on the road like that, that's kind of what got me started. Everybody has their own path, and mine kind of started through songwriting. I've had, cuts by other artists, other songs been on the radio that I've written, but now, to have my own song on there it's a whole different story. But we, after the merch days, I got a publishing deal, kept writing songs until I wrote Chillin' It, and then, was fortunate enough to have a record deal, and here I am now with my debut single, Chillin' It. I always laugh at, you got to pay the bills, so I just had to get a job doing whatever, and the fact that it was in the music business was, awesome for me, being out on the road, getting to learn, although at the time I didn't really know I was learning what I was. I didn't know I was going to get a chance to use it. I always hoped I would, but when I was in college, he had already moved to Nashville. We're actually fraternity brothers, but he was there a little before I was, so he came back in town to do a show, and me and my buddies were sitting on the front porch of the fraternity house waiting on his show that night, and he came up, needed to change his strings, and he played something he had written. And I was like, man, that's what I have to do. That's what I have to do. And we kind of kept in touch, and when I moved to Nashville, he happened to need a merch guy, and I happened to need a job, so it just worked out, man. That's kind of the story with me and Luke. Everybody wonders how we met each other, and that's it. He's always been a great friend, and that I moved to town to be an artist, and finally this is my shot. Here it is. So I didn't move to town to sell merch, and I'd always played bars in college, so that's why I moved to town. So the transition, it's just good for me to be able to go back to these places where I sold merch, and now I'm on the stage, because every show we were at, I was like, one day I want to be up there. That's what my ultimate goal is. So the transition wasn't that bad. It's just better for me. I'm so excited to be doing what I love every day. 3 years I was writing songs. I was trying to get other artists to record them, and then some of my favorite songs on the album, I can't believe nobody ever recorded them, but now it's just a blessing in disguise. Looking back, I had 3 years to write for my album, and I didn't even know that's what I was doing, so it's, but the songs that other artists have recorded are great. I get to still play those live, and it's just cool. You can tell, it's the power of radio, man. You can tell that somebody's been playing the songs because they know every word to it. And so the early part of Chillin' It, before people really knew it, it was fun to play those songs I'd written that people knew, but now seems like more and more folks are knowing the words of Chillin' It the higher it gets on the chart, so it's definitely cool. The album's full of different kinds of songs. That's the great thing about getting to make your debut album. It's your chance to introduce yourself to the country world, and that's what we did. We put, I'm not all about Chillin' It, that's not real life. That's, there's heartbreak and where you come from, how you grew up, so there's songs about that on there too, and that's why I'm so excited for my fans and new fans to buy my album and get a chance to hear more than just Chillin'. The Backroads and the Back Row it may be one of my favorite songs I've ever written. It's, like I said, it's your debut album. You kind of got to tell where you come from, tell your story, and it's the last song on my album. I think it's fitting. I grew up playing sports before I ever started singing, and Friday nights we were on that football field. Saturday we might be riding some back roads, chasing girls, whatever, but Sunday morning we had our butts in church, and that's just the way we grew up. So to have a song that really, if somebody were to say, who is Cole Swindell, where are you from, I think I could play them that song and they would get it.